The winner of American Idol is Jamal Roberts.
Long before Jamal Roberts stood under the dazzling lights of American Idol's grand stage, his life began in shadows cast by abandonment and grief. Born in small-town Mississippi, Jamal's earliest memory wasn't of a toy or a birthday party. It was of his mother walking out the door when he was barely 6 years old. According to those close to the family, she left without warning, never looking back and never explaining why. The trauma left a scar that never quite faded, but one woman tried to fill the gap: Tabitha, Jamal's stepmother. She wasn't just a replacement, she was his compass, his protector, and the one who encouraged him to sing through the pain. Together, they built a fragile but warm world in the modest corners of Meridian. But that world shattered again when COVID-19 swept through their town, claiming Tabitha's life in a matter of days. Jamal, still in his early 20s, had no time to mourn. With barely enough money to pay for the funeral, he turned to music as both a prayer and a protest. Every note he sang carried the grief of a boy who had lost not one but two mothers. While most saw a rising star, few knew they were witnessing the cries of a man still haunted by childhood betrayal and pandemic heartbreak. But that wasn't the whole story. While Jamal Roberts now commands sold-out arenas and late-night interviews, his journey to stardom began not with a record deal, but with a whistle and a pair of gym shorts. Before he ever stepped onto the Idol stage, Jamal worked full-time as a PE teacher at a local elementary school in Meridian, Mississippi, where his booming voice echoed not on stage but across playgrounds and basketball courts. Parents recall him as the teacher who sang gospel tunes during warm-ups and turned fitness drills into soulful sing-alongs. It was his church, however, that first witnessed his rare gift. Every Sunday morning, Jamal filled the sanctuary with heart-wrenching hymns that made grown men cry, and soon enough, his name started circulating beyond the pews. Encouraged by friends and local clergy, he tried his luck on BET's Sunday Best, where he made it to the top 3, but it wasn't quite his breakout moment. Twice, he auditioned for American Idol, and twice, he was sent home in the early rounds, an experience that crushed him but didn't kill the dream. He returned to teaching, humbler, more focused, and even hungrier. Then in early 2025, a TikTok clip of Jamal singing at a school fundraiser went viral overnight, amassing millions of views and reigniting interest in his voice. Suddenly, producers were calling back, and this time, he didn't just get a golden ticket. He walked through the door with a purpose sharpened by rejection, survival, and years of unsung talent. But as millions fell in love with the voice, few could have guessed how much pain was packed inside every note, and what was about to unfold would shock everyone. When Jamal Roberts finally stepped onto the American Idol stage in 2025, it wasn't just another audition, it was a reckoning. With trembling hands and a voice that seemed to rise from the depths of something unspoken, he delivered a rendition of Take Me to the King, so raw and powerful that judges were left stunned into silence. Lionel Richie called it the most spiritually charged moment in Idol history, and by the time the season neared its finale, Jamal wasn't just a contestant, he was a movement. The public, captivated by his humility, heartbreak, and heavenly voice, rallied behind him like never before. On May 18, 2025, America crowned its newest idol with a record-breaking 26 million votes, making Jamal Roberts the first black male winner of the show since Ruben Studdard in 2003. His original gospel single, Heal, skyrocketed to 1 on streaming charts within 48 hours, and fans around the world found solace in his lyrics about loss, hope, and redemption. He thanked God on live television, eyes wet, voice cracking, and dedicated the win to his late stepmother, Tabitha. In that moment, it looked like his story had finally reached a happy ending. But beneath the glitter of confetti and cheers, something else lingered, an invisible weight, a reminder that even victory can't erase old wounds, and what happened next would reveal just how deep those scars really ran. Just weeks after Jamal Roberts stood atop the American Idol world, the cracks in his emotional armor began to show, and they showed in real time. On June 1, 2025, during what was supposed to be a celebratory interview on a nationally syndicated radio show, the conversation took a sudden, unexpected turn. When asked about his childhood and who inspired his winning song Heal, Jamal paused for a beat too long. The host pressed gently, and in a trembling voice, Jamal began to open up about his biological mother, the woman who had walked out of his life decades earlier. "I used to think I did something wrong," he admitted, fighting back tears. I used to stare at the door every day hoping she'd come back. His vulnerability caught even the host off guard, and for a moment, the entire room was silent. That interview clip, just 90 seconds long, was uploaded within the hour and went viral within a day. Fans, already emotionally invested, were now seeing a side of Jamal they hadn't expected. Not the polished idol champion, but the broken man still searching for answers no trophy could provide. The confession struck a chord with millions, spawning thousands of comments, tribute videos, and emotional fan messages. But fame is fickle, and while many embraced his honesty, others began to dissect it, speculate on it, and twist it into something darker. The emotional floodgates had been opened, but what came rushing in next was anything but sympathy. The wave of public admiration that followed Jamal Roberts' idol win quickly turned into a firestorm of controversy when a celebration in his own hometown took a sinister turn. In early June 2025, the city of Laurel, Mississippi, had planned to honor Jamal with a symbolic Key to the City ceremony, a tribute to the local teacher turned national star. What should have been a joyful homecoming, however, became a security nightmare. Days before the event, anonymous threats began pouring into local officials and organizers, some of them explicitly warning that Jamal wouldn't leave the stage alive if he accepted the honor. Law enforcement elevated the threat level, citing credible danger, and the ceremony was postponed indefinitely. Jamal's team later confirmed that he had declined to attend out of safety concerns, not for himself, but for the fans expected to gather. The decision sparked outrage on both sides. Some accused him of being overly dramatic, while others blamed small-town politics and deep-seated resentment over his newfound fame. But the facts remained chilling. A man who had once devoted his life to children in that very town was now a target of hatred in his own backyard. The story was quickly picked up by national outlets, raising uncomfortable questions about fame, race, and how quickly public sentiment can turn toxic. Still reeling from the emotional toll of his radio interview just days earlier, Jamal now faced a darker threat, one that no camera, security team, or fan support could easily silence. And just when the dust began to settle, another rumor exploded online, pulling Jamal into a terrifying headline frenzy. Just when Jamal Roberts seemed to be regaining his footing, the internet lit up with rumors that threatened to shatter everything again, this time with whispers of a tragedy far more physical than emotional. On May 28, barely 10 days after his American Idol victory, sketchy online outlets began circulating a disturbing claim that Jamal and his wife had been involved in a serious car crash while driving late at night outside of Jackson, Mississippi. According to these reports, the vehicle was totaled, and both passengers were said to be in critical condition. No photos surfaced, and no police statement confirmed the wreck, but the headlines were dramatic enough to set social media ablaze. Fans panicked, some prayed, others speculated, and a few opportunistic pages used the chaos to rack up views, spinning tales of a drunken driver or mysterious foul play. Jamal's team remained silent, offering neither confirmation nor denial, which only deepened the mystery. Fueling the storm was the eerie coincidence of his sudden disappearance from social platforms for several days following the alleged crash. By the time his team quietly uploaded a pre-recorded video thanking fans for their support, with no reference to the accident, viewers were left with more questions than answers. Was it real? Was it staged? Or was Jamal simply trying to heal in silence while rumors spiraled out of control? Regardless of the truth, one thing was certain: Jamal Roberts wasn't just living under the spotlight, he was being hunted by it. But behind all the headlines and hashtags was a man with a private world no one could quite touch, and that world, as we're about to see, revolved around three little girls who called him something far more important than idol. While the world dissected Jamal Roberts' every note, post, and headline, there was one part of his life he fought desperately to protect: fatherhood. Away from the stages and cameras, Jamal is the quiet, fiercely devoted dad of three young daughters, Harmony, Lyric, and Gianna, each under the age of 10. For them, he's not a superstar, a trending topic, or a rumor magnet. He's the man who sings lullabies at bedtime, who braids their hair before school, and who shows up to parent-teacher meetings despite a packed tour schedule. Little is known about the identity of his longtime partner, the mother of his children, and that's by design. Jamal has deliberately kept her and their family life out of the spotlight, citing the relentless nature of the media and the toxic speculation that fame breeds. Insiders say he splits his time between Nashville and a private home near Hattiesburg, where he's building a life far removed from red carpets and studio lights. But maintaining that balance has become a tightrope walk. Every move he makes is scrutinized, and with each viral moment, the pressure to remain accessible to fans collides with his instinct to shield his daughters from the chaos. Jamal has refused to share photos of his kids publicly, even as fan pages beg for glimpses, and he's repeatedly said, "They didn't sign up for this, I did." In a world where celebrity children often become content, Jamal's choice is rare and intentional, but as public expectations grow and the machine of fame churns faster, even the most private sanctuaries begin to shake. Still, in the quiet moments between chaos, he finds strength in their giggles, their drawings taped to the fridge, and the small hands that remind him what truly matters. But fame rarely respects boundaries, and Jamal was about to face the cruelest lesson of all, that dreams, once realized, don't always come without cost. For most people, winning American Idol is a fairy tale, the kind of once-in-a-lifetime moment that turns nobodies into icons overnight. But for Jamal Roberts, that dream came with a price far heavier than applause or album sales could ever repay. In less than 2 months, he'd gone from beloved schoolteacher to national sensation, then from celebrated hero to a magnet for controversy, rumor, and fear. What began as a moment of glory quickly unraveled into a relentless battle to protect his sanity, his safety, and the people he loves most. Behind every fan selfie was a sleepless night. Behind every award, a fresh headline questioning his motives, his past, or even his health. The tragedy, it turns out, wasn't just in his backstory, it was in what fame tried to steal from him: his peace, his privacy, and in some ways, his identity. Still, Jamal stands. He hasn't disappeared. He hasn't broken, though he's bent more than most would survive. His gospel ballads still climb the charts, his daughters still dance in the kitchen when they hear his voice, and through it all, he remains a man clinging to purpose in a world that profits off his pain. The question now isn't whether Jamal Roberts has the voice to lead a generation. He's already done that. The real question is, can he keep singing when the noise around him refuses to fade? Because in the end, this isn't just a story about talent or tragedy, it's about endurance, and whether the man who moved millions with his voice can now save himself with it. If this story moved you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Jamal's journey is a powerful reminder that even behind the brightest lights, real people carry real pain. Don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories and raw truths behind your favorite public figures. And drop a comment below. Do you think fame heals, or does it hurt? This video is based on publicly available information, interviews, and credible media sources. Some elements involving rumors or speculation are presented for storytelling and entertainment purposes only. We strive to respect the privacy of all individuals involved and do not intend to defame, harm, or misrepresent anyone. Viewer discretion is advised, especially regarding sensitive topics.